there's a reason. And I just want to know what the reason is.
Right.
I think we deserve that answer. Okay, issue number 3. Speaking of crime in town, will cash for guns help? You may remember that this issue became political last week when, after a spate of weekend shootings, our mayor mused, why do people carry guns? Can't we just ban them municipally? While I respect that the mayor, like many people in Canada, can't understand why people would choose to carry guns, his, kind of wondering out loud from the office of the mayor's chair about banning guns when in fact it comes under other jurisdiction, got Andrew Dreschel to say it was a Bertina moment, meaning an unthought out moment that was typical of our former mayor, Bertina. I don't know if you saw that column, Loren.
I did.
That was a little bit scathing to the old mayor and the new. That being said, one of our councillors has gone ahead with what they think is a real solution that might be something that municipally can happen. Matt Green has put forward a motion that comes to council tomorrow, suggesting that maybe there can be, like a gun amnesty where you can get cash for guns, because sometimes guns are passed down through families and people really don't want them and criminals steal them, etc. So what do you think of Matt's initiative?
I think that we've seen that on the news. First in American major East Coast cities.
Especially after the Sandy Hook shooting, remember?
Sure.
It was a huge thing.
Sure, but I think it's probably about 2 decades that large U.S. cities have been doing that. For the past maybe 5-6 years, it's a Toronto thing. There's nothing wrong with stealing good ideas, but I have no idea whether taking unwanted guns out of people's homes and getting cash for them is going to have any benefit to our crimes.
Well, I think the idea is that sometimes people have these guns, don't know how to get rid of them, and don't know how to safely dispose of them, and they get stolen, right? Or they get used by someone who has access to the gun for criminal purposes. So, I like the idea of this saying, if you've got it and you want to get rid of it and you don't want it tied back to you or a family member,
100%.
Why not? I mean, it can't hurt, right?
And so disposing...
Although it might cost.
Right. I can't imagine thousands of guns coming out of the wilderness into people's homes. But if in fact the benefit of this is taking firearms that are unwanted and disposing of them in a proper way, as well as making sure they don't end up in the wrong hands, and we should be doing this anyways.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think
whether there's any connection to the violent gun crime that has been rampant for the last couple of weeks in Councillor Matt Green's ward, that's to be determined.
Well, it sounds like it helps. There's a cost.
It certainly doesn't hurt.
There's a price tag to it.
$50 is what they're suggesting, right?
I thought there were more zeros than that on it, but I could have read it wrong. Either way, I think it's worth doing. If it saves a life, if it keeps people out of a criminal future, if it starts to stem the problem, then good on you, Matt Green, for taking the initiative. It's one thing to kind of think out loud and ask city staff to pursue something. It's another thing to come up with a practical, tactical solution like this.
Listen, it's not like the councillor can hold an amnesty where everybody can come and lose their disrespect for humankind for $50, where you can get rid of all that and we can be civilized human beings and stop running through our downtown streets and shooting each other.
Although I did see a documentary the other day on a Glasgow police detective who, they had so much violent crime in the city, he decided instead of always busting these young guys to actually do what Mayor Ford would call a hug-a-thug program, and it was tremendously successful. Now he's going around the world teaching people that giving these kids some help is a way better way than busting them later for violent crimes.
Laura, I saw the video. They didn't look like kids.
Well, whatever, but they start off as kids, right?
Fair.
So they're just saying that earlier intervention on the societal issues can make a huge impact. We're always putting a Band-Aid on the problem. We're never trying to solve the illness. So that was actually Anthony Bourdain's trip to Scotland. We had the conversation. It was great. Okay, I'm Bourdain, Parts Unknown on CNN. All right, let's get to the way to go. Oh, the rants. You want to rant?
Rant time, absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is the time of year when our beautiful city, which is beautiful,